Hello guys, welcome to this preview video for Age of Wonders 3, the Eternal Lords expansion. My name's Kearon with Explorminate, and today I'm going to show off the Tigran, however you want to say it, the race. So, you probably are already familiar with my videos, that's great. This is a alternative universe when I let the enemy get near my castle here. Now actually I loaded up just like one of the old save games and built all the units up so I can show them off to you. So I will show them and then we'll quickly do some combat. So unfortunately my stack with all my unique Tigran units got killed. So, well, not killed, but a lightning strike. So let's start. Drum roll. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so we're starting with the Tigran Cheetah. The Cheetah is one of the tier 1 units. As you can see, they've got health, movement, defense, and resistance like others. Now, yeah, so pretty normal, I think, for a tier 1 unit. They have 10 possible melee damage. They have a cool ability called Pounce. Just allows them to teleport. So, I mean, this can work getting you up city walls, behind units, across obstacles. It's pretty nice. They can walk. They have inflict a bleeding wound, which we'll come back to in a second with another unit. But basically, they just have, whenever they attack, they have a chance to cause units to bleed 4 damage every turn, which kind of works with the whole synergy of the race. We'll get back to that in a second. Overall, the race bonus, so they like barren, dense vegetation, hate Arctic, dislike blighted. They got night vision, so that's actually kind of interesting. I think the goblins are the one that had night vision. Anyways, that's could potentially be pretty nice. They have predator, athletics, and barren running. We'll jump down to those in a second. But overall, they have 40% holy protection, 20% frost weakness, -1 resistance overall, which is kind of interesting. I think the Necromancer has like -1 defense. These guys have -1 resistance. So it's interesting to see some of those races. I know the Necromancer is not a race class, but how some of the new content, the units kind of have to balance against their weaknesses. So, and then the +5 gold inherent. I think that means they're 5 cheaper because their upkeep's 4. Maybe not. I really should know what that means. But we'll skip. I won't pay any more attention to that because I can't explain that anymore. Okay, so not night vision, +2 vision underground. As I said, I think goblins are the only ones that have that. Then predator. They do +2 damage with attacks of opportunity, which is kind of cool. It's just inherent. Athletics is nice. They only spend 5 movement per hex instead of 6 in tactical combat, and flyers only move 4. So, I mean, they it just gives you the ability to move just a little bit quicker than you normally would in tactical combat, which is nice. You can maneuver, around things better. I haven't really seen this matter a lot, but I don't think I've really noticed it. At least they're not slow, so that can't necessarily be bad. And then Barons running, when you're moving across Barons, it just move quicker. So the rest of this stuff I've added, and the game will ignore that, minus the frost weakness and the spirit protection. So that's the Cheetah. Let's jump up to the Shredder real quick. This is just your tier 1 range unity. Nice. These blades, they're pretty cool. They've got the whole like Egyptian looking head garb and whatnot. So throw blade, medium range, 9 damage, proc up 3 times. Melee strength, pretty weak like normal archer units. Their projectiles have a chance to inflict bleeding wounds, which will come into play with the Prowler here, which we'll get to in a moment. But besides that, they're just pretty normal archer unit, and they just have the same inherent benefits as all Tigran units. So nothing too crazy here, but they're solid. Then we have the Prowler. So the Prowler is kind of what ties together all the tier 1 units, in my opinion. They have improved wall climbing, so they can climb walls, but they don't suffer any penalties while they're on it, which is great. So these guys are already pretty good. What do you have? 38. Yeah, I mean, so 52 health, I feel like is kind of on the high end for a tier 1 unit. So they're pretty good at sieging cities, right? Not having that defensive penalty is actually equates to a lot. What really comes in though, bloodthirsty. So their melee attacks do an additional 4 damage if a unit is bleeding. So that comes back into the Cheetah and the Shredder. They inflict bleed. These guys take advantage of it. On top of that, they 5 defense against attacks of opportunity and retaliation. So these guys are actually they're a pretty decent tier 1 unit. I didn't realize that till pretty late in the game, but they're I don't know. I feel like they're kind of the equivalent of the woolly mammoth. They're just a tier 1 instead of a tier 2. If you're familiar with the frostlings, so then I'm pretty sure these are inherent. Yeah, these are inherent. It says right there. So they have forestry, forest concealment, cave crawling. So they move through underground and forest is quicker. Concealed in forest as well, which is kind of crazy considering they're like a pretty decent unit. I mean, 15 damage, and then coup de grace. So they just do more damage if units are ensnared, frozen, stuff like that. So essentially, other units tie things down, causing them to bleed, and these guys come in and just really bring the hurt. They're quite effective at that. Let's look over at the Sungard too, the last of the tier 1 units. I like these units. They're probably my favorite. I don't know why. They're pretty solid with 10 defense, 45 health, a little low on the resistance, but for hand-to-hand stuff they're great. 10 damage, but really what's great about them, they're a tier 1 pike unit with all the benefits of a regular pike unit, plus some others. So they got guard break, so if they attack, it breaks the guard, thus guard break, right? Very imaginative, of a unit. So I mean, that just goes back to working with the Prowler. Get a unit off guard that's bleeding, they can get a flank in, things like that. Which comes into handy a lot more than you think. And then Sun Shield. The unit gains +2 defense and +2 resistance, putting it up to 12 and 9, as well as 60% fire protection from non-flanking attacks. So these guys aren't flanked; they can actually hold, a little corridor, or just a side of the map, or really anything quite effectively. Since they're pikemen, looks like. So pikemen, they just have the first strike, polearm, pike square. I don't actually know if these are inherent to pikemen. Yeah, it looks like they are, so nothing special there. And this is all stuff I buffed them with, but also a pretty good tier 1 unit. So I feel like the Tigrans have that they're ranged. Okay, well the Sungard and the Prowlers are both really good. These guys are pretty middle of the road, but if you use them in unison, like I said, if you can get units to bleed, Prowler can just decimate them. So that's your tier 1 units. Jumping up to tier 2, we have the Mystic and the Sabertooth Chariot. We'll start with the Sabertooth Chariot because I like it less. It's not a bad unit. It's got some decent stats. 13 damage. It can throw a Sun Spear. I have yet to really understand why this is incredibly useful. 14 damage isn't bad. It's 1 throw, so it's not like a bow that procs 3 times when you're shooting with it in a turn. And it can start your enemy on fire, which is useful, but Sun Spear's not that great. I guess if you want to turn a unit or something, it gives them an option. It's kind of nice in that regard, perhaps, that they have a mounted unit that kind of inherently can be mounted or throw something, but this is more opportunistic than useful in everyday combat, I guess is what I'm saying. And then besides that, everything else is just normal. They're cavalry, so they get charge bonus, mounted, weak against pikes, stuff like that. And then we've gone over that. So that's the Sabertooth Chariot. Not a bad unit, just not an amazing unit. Not quite as cool as the Woolly Mammoth, I think, but that's alright. That is well made up with by the Mystic. The Tigran Mystics are perhaps my favorite new unit in the game. I know I'm going to say that in all these overview videos, but they're pretty cool. So they're magic bolts, typical medium range, can trigger 3 times, 6 fire, 5 holy. That's pretty good by default. And it's nice that they have they're two elemental types I don't feel like are combined a lot. Their melee strike is split 3, 3, and 3 between physical, fire, and holy damage as well. Then they have a bunch of abilities. So they got break control. They have. Ooh, I don't think healing is inherent. It doesn't say it is. Did I get it from? I think I have it from upgrading. So anyways, healing's not inherent, but it's pretty easy to pop on them because they're a support unit. They have steel enchantment, which they get with leveling up enough. And ooh, I should go back and look at that. I know that was requested. We'll just start right now in a moment. So they can earn this through veterancy, which is just your typical steel enchantment spell. It's useful sometimes. They also have projectile resistance, it looks like, and then Werepanther. Can't forget the best ability. So these guys are formidable enough as a support unit, but Werepanther is awesome. It turns them that turn into a Dire Panther, so it heals them 15 damage, 15 health, which is nice. So if they've hurt a little bit, you can do that. And then Dire Panther, I should probably pull it up. It's a pretty meaty unit with the ability to pounce. So it's got a little bit more health than this. It's got pounce, so you can jump behind someone pretty easy. It's nice. So when they're done shooting, they can just get in combat. You can't switch back and forth, and at the end of combat, they survive to go back into their, I guess, traditional mystic phase, but it's pretty cool. They're quite versatile. I really appreciate that about this unit particularly. So let's look at some of the promotions. You can see real quick, they're just gaining your typical health and damage and defense, but they gain Steel Enchantment and Phase. Steel Enchantment at Veteran level. That's pretty easy to obtain. But then at Elite they get Phase, which could be pretty deadly as a Werepanther. Or, I mean, honestly, it's just a support unit too. Let's jump back real quick. Sorry to digress, but we'll look at the abilities people gain. So it looks like Chariots gain Plains Running, which is just going to let them move over barren land quicker at Veteran. And they get Inflict Bleeding Wounds at Elite, which goes along with our friend the Prowler, which we'll look at. Prowler get Cave Concealment at Expert, so that would actually be pretty deadly. They could conceal themselves in forest or caves. And then, they also get Inflict Bleeding Wounds at Elite, which would be nice. If these guys could inflict bleeding wounds on their own, that would cut out the middlemen, essentially these other tier 1 units, and you could just keep these guys around. So that would be awesome. The Shredder, their abilities, looks like they get Hurl Net at Elite, which, if you remember the Prowler, they do that bonus damage to, I think because Coup de Grace is what it's called, the talent, or the ability. They do more damage to like snared units. So they could either inflict bleeding wounds or throw a net. So again, a lot of what makes the Tigran is kind of working towards the Prowler. And then finally we'll get back to the Cheetah. The Cheetahs get Sprint at Veteran, Force Concealment at Expert, and Martial Arts at Elite. So it's actually pretty sizable. I'll make fun of that. I should make fun of these poor units anyways. They're trying their best, right? Okay, and then we get finally to the tier 3 unit, the Tigran Sphinx. So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this unit. It's got a great abilities, and I guess it does enough damage. I don't know. I don't feel it like I feel, what do they call, like, what are the Dwarven units called? I can't even remember, that's horrible. The Dwarf tier 3 unit, or like the Draconian. I feel like there's a few better tier 3 units out there, which are just kind of all around, but this has some really, I guess, good utility in special situations. So, the first is Sundisk, just 24 fire damage in a 4 hex long area right in front of it. So, straight line right in front of you for 4 hexes, they get 24 some damage, which is great. The AI is smart enough to not really line up in a line of 4 very often, so there's that. But it lets you, I don't know, it lets you get some good damage off sometimes. And if something has fire resistant weakness, I mean, that's great. And it can cause fear. It's got a power of 11 they have to resist against, otherwise they panic and they try to run from the field for 2 turns. That can be useful. I've got it to work a few times, but I don't know. So it's got some neat abilities. I don't know if I'm just not used to it yet, but I'm not crazy about the unit, but at the same time it's not like it's underpowered or anything. Mind control immunity is nice, that it's not going to go anywhere. True sight. So I guess I shouldn't bash on it as much. It's got some neat things. And then it's got lesser flying, which is interesting. So it can't fly on the world map, but during tactical combat it's treated as a flying unit. It's something I'm pretty sure is new to the expansion that some units have. So that's nice that it can fly around. And then finally, let's not forget, so it's veteran, it gets bloodthirsty. So it, like the Prowler, excuse me, it's going to benefit from bleeding units. Oh, I missed one. At Trooper, it gets fire protection. And it looks like at Expert, it gets fire protection too. Maybe that's more fire protection. I don't really know. I would assume so. Because it would be no reason to have like just something twice. So it probably stacks. Then in Elite, it has vision range bonus of 1 and Fear Strike. So Fear Strike's pretty good. Just it's a chance on hit to cause fear. So that could be useful. So I could see these guys at Elite kind of actually wrecking some trash with the enemy army. So, but besides that, everything seems normal. So let's go ahead and do some combat where I show that off. First off, I'm going to mark the heretic. There we go. And it's a very likely victory, I know. But I kind of wanted this video to go quicker rather than slower, so we'll try to show off. I'll try to show off all the abilities here. Unfortunately, I'm going to die right there. I got lightning. That's okay. I think that was just the shredders or something. Okay, do your thing, guys. And most of them are running that way, so I might not even be able to show them off much. But for more on these guys in combat, just look at my Let's Play series. So, okay, let's look at my Mystics. So right now these guys, I'm devout, so that, I mean, I'm doing a little bonus damage from normal, but pretty sizable attack on those guys. I'm like down halfway. If I did cause fear at a 40% chance, 30% chance. These are kind of higher level units though, so maybe shouldn't expect that. Ooh. Let's get you to pounce, buddy. So the neat thing with pounce, so I'm going to run up here. There we go. And it gets them, it flanks them, so you can move up and use it. Only a 20% chance to inflict that bleed, and unfortunately, I did miss it. Is the Prowlers right? Yes, they are. So, we'll use the Sun Spear here, turn him. Kind of useful, right? It's not going to be enough to turn him, so. Martial arts. So, you see the martial arts right there was really useful to keep me alive, gave me that defense, allowed me to hit a few times. At the end of the day, it wasn't enough to keep me alive, but it's okay. Keep in mind, I mean, this is pretty much tier 1 and 2. Oh, I got stunned. Are you kidding me? Jerks. That would happen to anyone. These are tier like 1 and 2 units going up against 2 and 3, so I don't feel too bad losing them. I mean, honestly, in a perfect world, it would be great not to lose anybody, right? But things don't always happen that way, so we'll just quickly finish them off. Fortunately, in this stack, I guess I have a lot of just cry units. Well, not unfortunately, they're great units, but we'll get the Sungard up here to break the guard, maybe. That would be useful. Oh, they can't. Yeah, their movement's kind of slow. Guard break would be very nice to have there, though. fly you there. And I know that's not a great place to fly you, but... Okay, what happens if I sprint? Ooh, good things happen if I sprint. Get up there and engage those guys. Probably kill them off. Yeah, this is going to be a theocrat battle scene rather than something else. That's okay. Excuse me. Alright. So that was kind of the units. This battle isn't that great. Again, my apologies. Ooh, I'm able to get the Cheetah up there though. So I mean, this is a good thing about the Cheetah because I'm pretty sure that was a Cheetah unit I lost that first turn. We can sprint, which means we can get all the way up here. And then I'm pretty sure, yep, we'll go with the pounce. So I went from here to all the way over here on the battlefield and got a flank attack off. That's pretty good. And I would be foolish if I did not show off the Were-Panther, or the Dire-Panther. Let's actually just look at that real quick. So, we've got Pounce, 19 damage. Predator's got Bloodthirsty, so extra damage against bleeding units and whatnot. And then some decent defense and health overall, so I could either go in and attack you for that much, or I could pounce for 19. I think we're going to go for the pounce. There we go. Because then the chariot can come get the flank and be very happy. Very happy about that flank, if you can't tell. Very proud of himself, you know. He's like, hey, look at me. Got the flank, guys. Kill this dumb node serpent. These are actually like pretty good units. Never underestimate a node serpent. Alright, so no guards up. Darn it, I wanted to show guard break. Show those guys in action at least. Pretty good. If you get up there, stab them with their spears or their pikes, whatnot. That's that. So we won. That's gonna be it for my Tigran showcase video. So again, check out the Let's Play if you want to see more of this race in action. They're pretty fun. I like them. Nothing too bad to say about. I mean, nothing bad to say about them. I shouldn't say it that way. I feel like the Frostlings are going to be probably the early favorite out of the gate, but with some of the, like the Bloodthirsty especially, if you're able to get those procs on the bleeding, a Tigran army can just shred stuff. So don't underestimate them. But with that, I don't think I have anything else to add. So hopefully this has been informative to you. If you have any more questions about the Tigran in general, just post them on YouTube in the comments, and I will try to get back to those. We'll be busy in the future, but yeah, so anything else, hopefully that covered most of it. But anyhow, thank you for watching, and check out our other Age of Wonders 3 content on our YouTube page. We're trying to do a bunch of showcase videos, and it just shows some gameplay off and things, so just to give you guys an idea of how great the expansion is before it comes out. So check those out, and I will see you next video. But as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and we appreciate it, so we'll catch you next time.